I'm wondering, does your comic book shop have a horror section? Mine does, and it makes my shopping so much easier. Let me know the pros and cons of having a comic book section down below, and what your thoughts are on that. Meanwhile, let's see what's new in comic book horror, August 31st, 2022. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Here's what's new this week in comic book horror, August 31st, 2022. Small Bites #1 is from Sequential Decay. The story is by Matthew Wilding, with art by Domenico Pagano, Raymond Lolacher, Matt Rowe, J. Schiek, C. Hess, Flavio Giron, and Matthew Manghi. This single issue features 7 short stories from writer Matthew Wilding. Each seem interesting. One's about a precognitive camera, another's about a courtroom held by a werewolf, and yet another, and this is the one I'm interested in, is about a man-eating squirrel. I always love me some anthologies, and this one seems to have some fun ideas. Sulphur Wells #2 is from Blood Moon Comics. The story is by Otis Crain, with art by Sara, Stella, Scalia, and covers by Daniel Page. I had a chance to meet writer Otis Crain and cover artist Daniel Page at C2E2 this year in the Artist Alley. They passed me a copy of their first issue of Sulphur Wells, and I really dug it. It tells a time-spanning tale of an ancient evil that resides within a backwoods lake. It also sports a simplistically horrifying and iconic cover by Page. I can't wait to check out the second issue of this horror series. Cradle of Filth, MALEDICTUS ATHENAEUM #2 is from Opus Comics. The story is by Justin L. Peniston, with art by Piotr Kowalski. This story picks songs from hard rock band Cradle of Filth's song catalog and makes horror stories out of them. In this one, the focus is on a moonlight hunt by Roman goddess Diana, and woe to anyone who is out that night. I'm digging that Castlevania variant cover lots. Blood Oath #1 is from Comixology. The story is by Alex Segura and Rob Hart, with art by Joe Eisma. This one is set during Prohibition, with cops and gangsters going head-to-head with each other. It also looks like some vampires are stuck in the mix as well. Written by my pal Alex Segura, who has spent an awful lot of time behind the scenes of some of your favorite comics from DC and Archie in the past years. I'm definitely interested in seeing his work being in the spotlight for once. Looking forward to this one. Playthings #3 is from Scout Comics. The story is by John Clark, with art by Travis Williamson. This story so far has had the killer clown and a man in a baby mask as roadblocks between a mother and her lost child. Now the most terrifying monster of all, the princess, is loose and out to cause all kinds of royal pains. This is a truly warped and primally potent horror series delving into deep and dark childhood traumas. Loaded Bible, Blood of My Blood #6 is from Image Comics. The story is by Tim Seeley and Steve Orlando, with art by Giuseppe Cafaro. Holy Moses! Jesus has a battle to the death or undeath with Dracula in this very issue. Make sure your religious aunt doesn't find this one, kiddies. Keep it tucked under your bed with the Sears lingerie catalog just to be safe. Blink #2 is from Oni Press. The story is by Christopher Sebela, with art by Hayden Sherman. Labeled as the first found footage comic, Blink tells the story of a researcher that discovers film evidence of a lost social experiment at a secret facility, which happens to be the very facility that the investigator is in. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Phantasmagoria #1 is from Scout Comics. The story is by L. Torres, with art by Joe Baccardo. Set in Victorian London times, a wizard attempts to close a portal to another dimension called the Outer. But this isn't the only wizard present, and those wizards don't want the portal to be closed. Look for gothic horrors and surreal mysticism in this one. Vampirella, Year 1, Number 2, is from Dynamite Entertainment. The story is by Christopher Priest, with art by Ergun Gunduz. Uber writer Christopher Priest unveils the origin of Vampirella's alien homeworld, Draculon. This one's got political intrigue, thrilling drama, intense horror. It's also got covers sporting
titties, ass and titties.
Pentagram of Horror number 4 is from Scout Comics. The story and art are by Marco Fontanilli. This excellent horror anthology series features a small-town sheriff after an old-school outlaw. But the sheriff doesn't count on this outlaw to be so old school that he's a walking and shooting corpse. Sounds fun. West of Sundown number 5 is from Vault Comics. The story is by Tim Seeley and Aaron Campbell, with art by Jim Terry. After a town of vampires and vampire hunters is taken over by a strange cult, both warring parties must band together to take on the religious zealots. It's Western horror at its finest in West of Sundown. Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer number 4 is from Opus Comics. The story is by Mitch Iverson, with art by Stefano Martino. This issue delves deeper into the Death Dealer's never-before-told origin, and holy shit, do you see the size of that bear on the cover of this book? DD has got his barbarian's hands full with this furry monstrosity. Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country, number 5 is from DC Vertigo. The story is by James Tynion IV, with art by Aaron Campbell, Lissandro Esteren. When a young girl does not feel afraid after encountering the Corinthian, the world's most accomplished serial killer, a bond is formed, and this bond may prove to be deadly. This series explores the darker corners of the already dark Sandman universe. With Tynion at the helm, it's bound to be potent horror. Tartarism, Tartari Takayama's selected works, is from Starfruit Books. The story and art are by Tatari Takayama, and it's translated by Dan Lufay. No fan of manga horror should miss this collection of short stories from manga master Tatari Takayama, featuring adaptations of such horrifying tales as The Fear of Mouth Eyes Woman and G-Pen Magic. I can't wait to get my grimy mitts on this one. House of Slaughter number 8 is from Boom Studios. The story is by James Tynion and Sam Johns, with art by Werther Deladera. Monster hunter Edwin is searching for the legendary Lake Michigan monster, but finds himself adrift in the lake and weaponless. Just another day of monsters and the people who fight them in this spin-off of the hit series, Something is Killing the Children. That's it for this week's haul. I'll be picking up a bunch of these titles this week, including House of Slaughter, Phantasmagoria, Tartarism, and I'll definitely seek out Small Bites and Sulphur Wells. How about you? Let me know which ones look good to you down in the comments.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. God live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside